Hudson. We can walk our way down now, and you'll see along the walls some pictures from some of those division titles.
Baby Trea, this old.
Were you able to have that beer?
I don't. No, I wasn't. I wasn't Juan Soto young. I was young, but I wasn't Juan Soto young. So I feel like every time I think of 2016, 2017, I think of those first round exits and just how tough they were. And I know the fan base was hoping for a little bit more, and then we traded for Huddy, and that's why we won in 2019. So but that's where it started. That's how our story goes.
What's it like? What's it like to be back here?
It's just obviously walking out of the dugout, man. It just brings back special memories. I remember coming out, this stadium was rocking in October of 19, man. It was a lot of fun. Just brings back really good memories of a really special team, a special squad, man. And I'm just was really blessed to be a part of it.
That Daniel Hudson would someday become a World Series champion is likely one of the most unlikely stories you'd ever hear. Talent? No question. Commitment? In spades. What could have derailed Hudson, and certainly been understandable, were the invisible obstacles that end careers. But here he is on this day, on this field, the most recent stop on a decade-long journey that began in Arizona.
Outside corner, that's strike three.
Hey, what do you think of Daniel Hudson? He's pretty good, the starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, don't you think?
Daniel Hudson is a power pitcher who's got finesse as well. And those two things you don't normally see with a young player coming up.
And he goes down on the 10th strikeout of the night for Daniel Hudson.
When you see that at the upper levels of the minor leagues, which he absolutely blew through after coming out of college.
Oh, baby.
You're thinking to yourself all of a sudden, hey, we may have the most valuable thing in baseball, which is a top of the rotation type starter.
Over the top, that's the ball game. On a changeup, Daniel goes the distance.
Obviously, I was pretty excited. I had a fairly decent start to my career. As a starter, and I threw 220 innings my first full season.
Hudson goes the distance for the third time this year. He's got 16 victories.
I thought, everything was coming to me the way I wanted it to, and obviously, things took a turn. Things weren't going that great. I had been kind of hot and cold throughout the year, and my elbow was slowly starting to get worse and worse. But I was pretty stubborn and didn't think anything was seriously wrong. And being a young guy, it just kind of scared me, trying to potentially be forgotten.
Something wrong with Hudson.
He just signaled.
Oh,
he's
hurt.
That would indicate something's not right.
Every time I really got extended on a pitch, it just sent the shooting pain up my arm, and finally I just kind of motioned to the dugout and said, I need to get out of here.
Well, Daniel, what were you feeling out there?
I just couldn't get extended on any pitch without, some pain in my elbow.
What's the plan for you now?
Go have an MRI tomorrow and see if we can go from there. Pretty concerned.
The news was the worst a pitcher can hear. A torn ulnar collateral ligament in his elbow. Tommy John surgery was scheduled, and Hudson crossed paths with journalist Jeff Passan, who was researching and writing about pitching, more specifically, about a pitcher's object of glory and his object of pain, the arm.
I was fascinated by the pitching arm. And more than just the arm itself, the fact that Major League Baseball, these teams that spend millions upon millions of dollars every year trying to understand the game better, still did not understand the arm after 150 or so years. And so I wanted to explore that and look into it more. And to do that, I thought I need to follow a pitcher from the beginning of his injury to the conclusion when he comes back from Tommy John surgery. Lo and behold, Daniel Hudson blows out his elbow. He agrees to let me follow him for however long this is going to take. At the time, we thought it was going to be okay, 12 months, he'll be right back. That was not the story, though. So after a year, gone through all the rehab, and is getting ready to go out and make his first start to carve his path back to the big leagues.
I hadn't had any setbacks in my rehab to that point. Just general soreness, nothing too terrible. Thought it was just kind of normal wear and tear, normal soreness coming back, some scar tissue maybe. I remember going out for the first inning and feeling really good.
I remember that first fastball crackling in at 95 miles an hour and turning to one of the scouts and saying, he's back. And then I remember slowly, dreadfully, those numbers dropping to 94, to 93, to 91, and eventually to 90 miles per hour.
My arm wasn't quite getting loose, and yeah, and then I just felt it on a pitch and tried to get through it. And I think my fastball cratered down to like 86 and, really weak slider, and tried to get through it. And I remember coming out after getting the third out, I think I threw like 30 pitches that inning, and came in and told him, hey, I got to come out of the game, something's not right. I just remember that being one of the longest flights of my life, coming back from Jacksonville. Pretty much had to go straight to the imaging place and go get an MRI, go see the doctor, and yeah, I just remember the next day, doctor called me on the phone, which was weird because I was going to go to the stadium that night and see him anyway, and he called me before I had left and pretty much told me the worst news, that I had torn it again. So yeah, it was pretty rough time.
Do you start to question, like, is this it for me?
Oh, 100%. I didn't know if I'd ever throw another pitch.
I wasn't sure, where I was mentally, if I wanted to try it again or not, but I'd hate myself if I didn't try. 5 years from now, I probably couldn't look myself in the mirror if I didn't try again, so I gotta give it another shot.
He didn't want to leave it to chance again, that this graveyard in baseball that is littered with incredibly talented arms that simply couldn't hold up was going to have another headstone. But that's not how he wanted to go out.
And a pitching change, Daniel Hudson. D-backs welcome him back. Here's a guy that's had 2 Tommy John surgeries.
At that point, it had been 2.5 years from the time I got hurt the first time. I wasn't really thinking about my career at that point. I just wanted to get back and throw in one more game.
Only 4 pitchers have ever gone through what Daniel Hudson has gone through.
I think he was taking that day as a sign that who he is and what he stands for, it matters.
On the ground to second, Chris Owings. Welcome back, Daniel Hudson. A 1-2-3/8 in San Diego, and the long comeback road finally comes to an end. He's back, folks.
I don't really have much to say, it's just a lot of emotions right now. It was a lot of fun.
When you had that second UCL injury, you paused for a little while to see if it was going to be worth it to make your way back. Was it?
Yeah, it was. Even if I go out tomorrow and it blows again, playing catch, it was worth it, just to try again. And it been a long road, and thankfully today came.
Backstage Dodgers is brought to you by Cadillac.
It's weird. Walk this way a lot, but not to the other locker room. Usually turn right into that door. All the photos. I always thought these are pretty cool. You know, remember the years that each guy played for what team. As you go down, you see Rendon, Pudge. Oh, there I am, back there. I made it. I made the wall.
Oh, he's back home. He's back home. The camera too. The mayor's home.
I got a mic on. I got it all.
The mayor.
Such a big day.
Give him the keys.
Such a big day. Here we are.
How it feels, big back home.
Good. Hit a lot of homers here.
Me too.
Yeah, Freddie too. Freddie likes playing here. Try to cherish every moment. You know, you only get to play this game for so long. So, you know, for me, I think just my whole career in general, I've tried to appreciate. And it started in San Diego for a second, and then majority of it have been in Washington, and met a lot of good people, and it's been a fun journey.
The house that Trea built.
After his major league debut in 2015, Trea Turner's eye-catching speed was known all around baseball. But he quickly showed he was more than just fast.
The 1-1. Swinging a line drive to right toward the corner. Chasing Margot. He can't get it. It's one hop off the fence. Turner racing for second. He's going for three. The relay throw for Brasso. The head first dive. He is safe. And Turner is hit for the cycle on his birthday.
I loved his energy. I loved the way he played the game. He was that everyday spark plug.
Line drive left field. Way back there. This one may go. It's gone. It's gone. Goodbye.
Watching his growth, watching his maturity, I thought this guy was going to be an all-star, potential MVP one day, and so far he's been all of that.
It's a grand slam for Trea
Turner. They're gonna be all over you. Cameras are always on you.
That's for you.
Every time I talk to you, cameras on you.
We having cameras until you guys coming in. So today we have a TV game.
You're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're big time.
With me everywhere.
Everyone still here is a little sad to see him on the other side there, but I mean, he's such a great player. He's probably the best shortstop in my opinion in the game, and an even better person.
What's all these new outfits you guys got? What, is this you? Or is this team issued?
No,
is this you?
That's team issued.
Wow,
Yeah,
you guys are fancy now.
Come back to me, I'll get you one. I love you, buddy, and I miss you so much. You don't even know.
What's up, man? I miss the boys.
Yeah.
It's good seeing everybody.
Yeah, it's good. How's family?
Good. It's funny seeing everybody, man. I feel like everything changed for me, but then, I mean, I guess it changed a lot for you guys. But you know what I mean? Like,
the minute I walked in my office and I came down and said you were traded, it changed.
Yeah.
In 2019, Turner was a key piece of manager Dave Martinez's lineup. But uphill best described the Nationals' start that season, and injuries added to the difficulty.
When I looked down, finger wasn't working, and my trainer that came out originally thought it was just dislocated, so I was kind of yelling at him to put it back in place, and you know, even after he put it back in place, it still was not right, so I knew something was wrong, and ended up being a pretty bad injury.
He is going toward the Nationals dugout. So this is really bad news for the Nationals right at the start.
That was a big old boy moment for us. It contributed to our 1931 start.
The injury was a broken right index finger. Turner would miss 6 weeks, and the season looked to be a lost cause by the time he returned to the lineup.
And he grounds one down to Adams, turns, makes the throw into the runner. It goes into left center field. And slowing up into foul ground, he lost the ball. It bounces fair, and the roof is absolutely caved in on the Nationals.
We knew we were better than how we were playing. We knew we had the talent. It was kind of more shocking to us that we were playing so bad. And I think we had a lot of tough losses in there. You know, we weren't necessarily getting blown out. It felt like we were in a lot of games. So we knew the momentum was going to change. We just didn't know if we dug ourselves too big of a hole.
And the Angels have Hudson, as Jose mentioned, loosening up out there with Dustin Garneau.
Weeks before the Nationals stumbled out of the blocks in the 2019 regular season, Daniel Hudson started his 10th year in the majors on a minor league contract with the Angels.
Here's the next delivery, and there's another ball that he hits well into left field. Borges is going back, he's looking, and that one is gone.
I didn't have a great spring training. Obviously, I was a minor league deal with an invite to camp. You know, I thought I could, if I had a good spring training, I'd potentially make the squad out of camp, but things didn't work out. They basically just kind of brought me in and said, hey, we're gonna give you a release and give you a chance to catch on with another team.
Do you try and hang on? Do you potentially go to the minor leagues? Or do you say, you know what, I've had a really good career at this point. I made it back. I stuck in the big leagues. I'm proud of what I've done. Daniel Hudson was extremely proud of what he'd done, but he was not finished.
Thankfully, the Blue Jays, not thankfully for them, but they had a couple guys go down at the end of camp, and they needed some bodies, and you know, I got released on a Friday, and I remember the next morning I was in agreement with them, and you know, the next day, on a Sunday, I was in Dunedin, Florida, and then Tuesday I was in Toronto for opening day. So things moved quick, man. It was a pretty tumultuous time, but you know, looking back now, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
97. What a job by Daniel Hudson.
He shoves. I mean, he's as good as we've seen him in this relief role, and I think he's finally starting to understand the power of what he's capable of doing on the baseball field.
Hudson settled comfortably into his role with the Blue Jays, while Washington suffered with a struggling bullpen. So they looked north for help at the trade deadline.
He has just received the news that he's been traded to the Washington Nationals, and he is being congratulated, and he is going to go into a pennant race.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Peralta.
Wow, 90 changeup. How about that?
The returns on Hudson came quickly. First, he became a bullpen leader. Then, he came in to close out victories.
We got him here, you know, we needed a closer at some days, and you know, I talked to Huddy. I put him in the close.
Another 2-2 on the way, swing and a miss.
After that day, he came to my office, and he says, you know, I don't like to close. So I sat him down, and I told him, I said, well, guess what? I said, you're going to close some games for us, and you're going to like it.
And Hudson saves another.
I said, all I need you to do is get 3 outs for us, you know, and finish the games. And man, what a tribute he did for the rest of the year for us.
1-1 to Franco. He lofts one out to the left center gap. Victor Robles runs it down.
And now we clinch.
All right, well, there is a bit of news here. Daniel Hudson, the closer of the Washington Nationals, will not be with the ball club.
Closer than he'd ever been before, Daniel Hudson sat 4 wins away from a World Series berth. After winning the division series, the Nationals headed to St. Louis for the NLCS, but their closer headed for home in Arizona.
I vividly recall this particular morning because it was like 5:30 a.m. and I was in an Uber and I went to pick up Daniel Hudson because we were flying together back to Arizona where he was going to see his wife, Sarah, give birth.
I wouldn't change anything for the world, man. That was one of the 3 coolest things I've ever done is brought, 3 kids into this world, and for the fact that I was there, I'll always remember that day for sure.
I heard somebody say one time, baseball is what I do, it's not who I am. And kind of once you have kids, or once I had kids, it really resonated with me. So to be able to be a part of that was awesome.
In the air, center field. This should do it. Robles will squeeze it, and there it is. The Washington Nationals are National League champions.
Hudson returned in time to help his team reach the World Series, where the surprising Nats matched heavily favored Houston through the first 6 games. In Game 7, a late Washington rally forced World Series history on the twice-repaired arm of their unshakable closer.
There's just no way to describe how that went. I never really thought that I would be in that position, especially 6 months earlier, getting released. I didn't really know if I was going to play baseball again.
That's a mile high on the infield for Cabrera. 1 out.
There are certain players who you get to know doing this job, but there's no player to whom I've grown closer than Daniel Hudson, because I saw the peak, I saw the valleys, and I saw this comeback landing on the 9th inning of a World Series Game 7.
A strikeout for the 2nd out, and the Nationals are 1 out away.
Every pitch, it was like my heart would stop, because is this going to be the pitch where it goes wrong? Is this going to be the pitch where it goes sideways? It was such a constant theme in his career, but this was the moment where things went right.
Here they are, 1 strike away, 1 out away. 3-2. There it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
It was evident in that inning, in that moment, and in the way he capped winning his first World Series with the most incredible throw of a glove that I have ever seen before, because his dreams had come true, and because he hadn't just made it back, but he'd made it to the pinnacle.
October of 2019 is just always going to live out in our heads, man. It's just it was really a special time for our family. Obviously, bringing our 3rd baby into the world, and then just the roller coaster of emotions that were going on throughout that whole time, and obviously closing out a World Series at the a couple weeks later was just something special, and I'll never forget it.
Are you guys already thinking about the reunion 7 years from now, and how much fun you guys are going to have all?
I'm trying to survive today.
This guy's still going to be playing. So.
Yeah, true. Well, this is all of it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. They did a really good job with this.
Yeah. And just seeing.
Got goosebumps right now.